A group of U.S. lawmakers have asked the leader of the U.S. House of Representatives to postpone a planned address by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Congress next month. Nearly 24 Liberal Democrats signed the letter, which was addressed to John Boehner. Lawmakers accuse Boehner of using a foreign leader as a political tool against President Barack Obama. They said the visit seems to be an attempt to promote new sanctions against Iran, which could threaten nuclear talks. Boehner has invited Netanyahu to address Congress about Iran on March the 3rd, but he has not consulted with the White House on the invitation. Netanyahu has previously said that he would use the speech to criticize the Obama administration over diplomacy with Iran. To discuss that further, I joined Mr. Mike Harris, who is the editor of Veterans Today, and he's now joining us live via Skype from Portland. Mr. Harris, how much of this act of this anger towards by Democrats, to Netanyahu speaking is real? Because they're just asking for a postponement at this time. They're not even asking for the cancellation of this invitation altogether.
Well, I think it's a little bit of street theater for the American people. We have to put up a little bit of a front. The people in Congress, our representatives, our elected representatives, are so bought and owned by the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee that they're afraid to openly oppose Mr. Netanyahu's visit. I frankly am embarrassed that we're having a war criminal come into the People's House, Congress, to the House of Representatives, to give any kind of address to the American people. That this man's a blatant war criminal for the massacres that have occurred in Gaza over this past year or so, and he should not be allowed to set foot on American soil, plain and simple. The power of the Israel lobby, it's a good thing if he comes in, because it will show the American people how controlled we are and how dominated we are by Israel's goals versus American goals, and that we no longer have a foreign policy that's truly an American foreign policy at all.
Indeed, I want to pick up on the last point you made there. Do you think the American people will realize that? And what does this, of course, say then about American democracy going forward?
Well, America has lost its democracy. We've become an oligarchy. 96% of the time, the candidate with the most money rules. Groups like AIPAC, the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee, know this. So they threaten our Congress people, saying, if you don't support our agenda, we're going to fund your opponent. Because they know money talks. So the American system of democracy, our Republican form of government, is lost to us until we take it back. This is a disgrace. We should not be having a foreign leader who's a war criminal, a known war criminal, murdered many men, women, and children in Gaza, and he should not be allowed to set foot on U.S. sovereign territory, ever. And all aid should be cut off to Israel. Israel should have to stand on its own without sucking at the American tit to get their nourishment via funds and weapons.
Very well. We'll leave it there at that. That was Mr. Mike Harris, who was speaking to us live from Portland. Mr. Harris, we appreciate your insight as always.